What is it about showing your ears fully on camera that makes you feel vulnerable? Hey, welcome to my video. If you're from my Instagram, I love you, and if you're not from my Instagram, love you all the same. So today, I am jumping on a TikTok trend, and I am extremely late, which means that for me, I'm right on time. Some would say that I am beating a dead horse. It's me, I'm some. But nevertheless, I'm still doing it anyway. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we're gonna do the Victoria's Secret makeup trend. Now, this has been popping off on TikTok for the last couple of months. I will say this. It's not that I'm not a fan, okay? It's beautiful. All the girls doing it look beautiful. What I will say is that this no makeup type of a look is normally not for me personally. I just feel like it takes a long time and it takes so many products for you to look like you're wearing minimal makeup. And if I'm gonna invest so much time and energy into doing my makeup, I want you to know it. I want to look like Boo Boo the Fool, Bozo the Clown, whatever, but I want you and everybody else to know it. So it's not my particular style, although it always ends up looking amazing on camera, but in real life, I always kind of look sickly. So that's my prediction how I'm gonna look today anyway, but you know what? We're still gonna try it and see, so let's go. Okay, first of all, you know the drill. I'm just gonna pin my hair back. Okay, so now that that's done, we can start, and I'm gonna start with my eyes as usual. Now normally I would just use the P. Louise base and, you know, kick it on, but for this look, since it is more natural, I think I'm just gonna use the foundation that I'm gonna end up using on my face later as my eyeshadow primer. Now for me, that's the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. I'm probably gonna have to mix it up with a darker foundation that I have later because my body is tan because I went on a vacation not too long ago, but my face is not. And so I want my face to match the rest of my body. Surprise, surprise, it really never does, so I don't know why that's a concern all of a sudden. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna have to mix this foundation with a different one, but for now, I'm just using my finger and messily applying it all over my eye. And I've done this trick before, so if you don't have an eyeshadow primer, if you don't want to invest in one, you can absolutely use concealer or foundation as one, and it does the job. Okay, so now moving on, I am using shade Bronzer from the Nimya The palette and a fluffy blending brush. This, I believe, is the BH Cosmetics tapered crease brush, and I'm just applying that in my crease, and I'm not gonna use too much of this. Okay, so I think this is enough. We just want to make it look like there's natural shadow there, because we're natural girlies doing a natural look. Oh, it scares me, but okay. I mean, isn't it funny that natural makeup looks scare me, and meanwhile I have no problem looking like a clown 24/7? What kind of reverse psychology is that? But anyway, I'm doing the same thing on the other eye now. I'm also gonna run this shade through the outer corner of my moving lid. So from what I've been able to tell, okay, let's talk, is that these Victoria's Secret makeup looks are all about looking bronzy, glowy, and just sun-kissed and dewy. And I love doing looks like those, but what bothers me is that in every tutorial I've seen on TikTok, they use either just like a tinted moisturizer or a BB cream for this, and I have a lot of imperfections on my face, so if I were to do just that, I certainly would not look like a Victoria's Secret model, more of like somebody who got the flu 3 days ago. So I will not be partaking in that. I'm gonna be using full coverage foundation, honey. Okay, see, now I'm using the MAC 217 brush, and I'm dipping into shade Sassy Classy from that same palette, and I'm just running that through the outer corner of my eye. And I would really recommend, with a look like this, just using a tiny bit of eyeshadow, and then if you feel like you need more, just build it up. You can always add more, but it's sort of hard to remove. So far, this is where we're at. And of course, I'm retracing my steps on my other eye as well. I really love makeup. It's so silly. It's so silly goose times, because I'm like, oh, let me pretend that a shadow is hitting my eye right here. Like, What are we doing? It's so fun. Oh my god. So now I wiped off that same brush, and instead of using it like this, I'm gonna turn it sideways and then blend everything out. Okay, so now if you've ever watched this channel before, if you've ever seen me do makeup before, my instinct would be to go in with a third shade to make this even smokier and give it even more depth. But we're not gonna do that today because it is not my tutorial. I also think this kind of looks sultry and good right now. Like, I might be delusional, but I'm starting to feel the fantasy a little bit. Anyways, let's not get too crazy. I am now using the Sephora Merry and Bright eyeshadow palette and a flat brush. And I'm gonna use the 4th shade in the first row. I'm sorry, it doesn't have a name, so I literally can't tell you which shade it is. But I'm gonna apply that all over my moving lid. And I also, by the way, since we're making apologies up in the gig today, I'm sorry that I don't know what brush this is. This brush is almost as old as me. No, I'm kidding. It's not that ancient, but it is really old. So I literally have no idea where I got it, but just any old flat brush will do. Kind of like that, almost, dare I say, natural. I'm moving on to my other eye and repeating the steps, of course. Okay, so now I'm using a tiny detailed blending brush. Again, no idea what brush this is. And using that same palette, I'm dipping into a sort of warm chocolatey brown shade. This is specifically the 3rd eyeshadow in the 3rd row, so that's what I'm using. And I'm just gonna draw on a little bit of a smoky liner on my lash line. Nothing too crazy though. The fact of the matter is that I'm trying to give like Beyonce in Goldmember, but what I'm gonna end up giving is like a bronze, like 1st grade participation trophy is the thing. That concludes our eyes. Now I will add a little bit of dark shadow just on my lower lash line as soon as I finish with my foundation. But for right now, I'm just applying some lash primer to my lashes, and then I'm gonna move on to the face. So before I actually move on to foundation, I'm gonna use some Glow Drops by L'Oreal, which is like a beautiful liquid highlighter, and I'm just gonna apply it to the high points of my cheeks. Look how gorgeous that is. I look like I've been dipped in olive oil, girl. So while that's drying down a bit, I'm just using my hand over here as a palette and mixing my foundations together. So I'm using the Fit Me by Maybelline and the True Match foundation by L'Oreal in the shade Sable Rose. So I'm just gonna mix those two together. Will I find the right shade for my face? Probably not. I'm probably gonna look very questionable. Am I gonna match it to my body? I mean, I'm gonna try. Is it gonna be successful? Probably not, but hey, here we are. Okay, so now before applying the foundation, I'm using the Benefit Professional, and I'm applying that primer wherever I have visible pores, because if we wanna look like a Victoria's Secret model, we wanna look flawless. Not that that's ever gonna happen for me personally. I know, like, I'm not a magician. I'm just doing makeup in my little room, so don't get your hopes up, but hey, we can try. And then for the rest of my face, I'm gonna be using the NYX Plump Right Back Serum / Primer. Watch me transform into a pile of mud as I take the foundation I've mixed up on a flat brush and clean up around my brows first. In a minute, when this oxidizes, I'm gonna look like a camel. So anyway, so now I'm moving on to the rest of the face, and I'm gonna work in increments. So I'm starting off with one side, tapping the foundation on my face and then blending it in. Okay, and now I'm moving on to the other side of my face. You know how before I said I was feeling the fantasy? I think I'm at the complete opposite of the spectrum right now. Also, if you are like me, trying to give tan with you from the coveted show RuPaul's Drag Race, like me, don't forget to not only drag it down your neck, but literally cover your whole neck. Otherwise, it's just gonna give sad Oompa Loompa, and if you do your neck, I mean, you're at least gonna be a happier Oompa Loompa, right? Okay, so now that I look somewhat bronze and not crazy if you like squint and close one of your eyes, I'm gonna move on to concealer. So first, I'm just gonna color correct a little bit, and I use that word loosely. This is the peachy shade of the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. Now I'm gonna let that sit on the skin and almost dry, to be honest. And while I wait, I'm gonna use the Maybelline, once again, Super Stay Concealer on all my problem areas. Okay, and I'm not gonna wait as long for that. I'm just gonna sort of half blend that in. And now while that's drying, I'm just gonna take my finger and dab this area. I'm gonna use the good old Tarte Shape Tape Concealer to finish off my under eyes. If you're wondering what the purpose of this sitting on my skin so long is, it's because honestly, the more it sits, the more pigmented it is when you blend it out. So the girls in the TikTok videos really do not set their face mostly, but I must at least set my under eyes. So I'm just taking a tiny beauty blender and setting them with a little bit of banana powder, just lightly. And then I'm immediately pushing that into the skin. I'm now just running a little bit of that chocolatey shade, the last shade that we used, on my lower lash line. And I'm gonna blend it out with the shade Bronzer. Okay, so now to finish off the eyes, on a pencil brush, I'm taking the shade Mr. and Mrs. Tutorials from the Nimia palette and adding it to this very inner corner, like my inner tear duct area. And I'm gonna use that same shade as like a highlighter on my brow bone. So now I'm just gonna add my first coat of mascara. This is the Maybelline Sky High Mascara, and honestly, I only almost exclusively use Maybelline mascaras because they're just that good. Okay, so while that's drying, I'm gonna use an angled brush and a contour stick and apply some bronzer slash contour on my cheeks. Now, the girls in the videos applied it pretty low, which is what I'm gonna do as well. Of course, I'm gonna place some on my forehead as well and around my temples. You know what time it is. It's also double chin time. Can't forget my chin twins. Okay, so now I'm moving on to a blush stick. This is one by Makeup Obsession that I like literally got for free. And when I tried it, I was like pleasantly surprised because it's actually, as you can see, pretty decent. Okay, so now I'm gonna set the creams with powders. Some girls in the TikToks did this, others did not, but I have to because honestly, cream, bronzer, and blush literally disappear from my face within 5 seconds. So for the bronzer, I'm using this bronzer from a NARS blush and bronzer palette, and I'm going over all the areas where I used the cream bronzer. And as for blush, I'm using my favorite shimmery blush from The Balm. Oh, I'm also just taking my finger and contouring the nose just a little bit. I'm just gonna give it some definition, hopefully. Now what we have yet to do is to highlight, and I'm gonna do that right now using this Fenty Beauty Diamond Balm highlighter. This, I bought it as soon as it launched because I was like, I know I'm gonna love this product. And this is one of my most cherished products literally ever. Okay, so now as a finishing touch to the face, before I move on to the lips, I'm gonna use the MAC Gold Light Setting Spray. That looks really pretty in person and in the sunlight as well. So beautiful. Okay, so now the only thing we have left is the lips and then we're done. So I'm just gonna wipe off whatever I have going on right now. And then I'm just gonna take my favorite nude lip pencil and line my lips. I'm gonna overline a little bit. Now I'm taking a MAC Cream Sheen lipstick in the shade Fanfare and applying that all over my lips. It's this beautiful like golden pinky shade. I use it almost every day as is. Okay, and over top, last but not least, I'm using the Cherry Lip Gloss by I Love Revolution or I Heart Revolution. Okay, and this is the finished look. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. I will say this, I actually like it. I think it's pretty. I think I did the eye look justice based on what I've seen on TikTok and, you know, the photos and such. I, to be real, added a bit more coverage to this look than what the other girls did, but that's because I needed this look to work for me, you know? And because of that, I think it does. If I were to use a BB cream, yeah, it would have been a no. It would have been a no-go, but this actually looks decent. I would go out like this. I would film a video like this. I'm pretty satisfied. Am I giving bombshell Victoria's Secret model? No, but like I wouldn't have been giving that anyway, you know? We all have to be realistic. But anyway, I actually really like this makeup look, and let me know if you've tried it down below. And thank you so much for watching today's video. And if you liked it, then please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!